He said to me, Obi, you gave me a word. I held on to that word. That word built everything you're seeing today. Logan, I fell on my knees. Held on to that word. I've remained at the cutting edge. And I'm saying to myself, here I am, just Obi. And I'm giving people words that are opening doors for them, making them, achieve who they are. They are building stuff. They are building things, like edifices.
You're seeing the purpose manifest in life.
Exactly.
That's neat.
I'm seeing this and I'm like, so there is power in the word.
Obi Achinivu is a modern-day wise man. Join us as he describes his unique and unbelievable experience from childhood to present. Obi's compassion, empathy, and human spirit set him on a path to be a vessel of benevolent humanity. Enjoy this conversation with my friend, Obi.
Mr. Obi, thanks for joining
Thank you,
me today.
Logan. Thank you, my pleasure.
Long time.
Yes. It's been a while.
You were introducing yourself for your new channel. Tell me what your new venture in life's all about.
So I started thinking about bringing my experience dealing with people. I'm someone who is passionate about people, and I call it the human condition. It touches me when I see people going through things, and I want to do something about it. So I have this experience where I've done Uber for 8 years.
Okay.
And I've done close to 20,000 rides for Uber and Lyft.
Oh, wow.
And within that period, I've met thousands of people. I've spoken to people, many on the edge of committing suicide.
Wow.
Many don't even have hope, don't know what to do.
Sure.
And I find myself being the counselor, being the one that I would drive and just stop the car for 1 hour and we're just talking. I would turn off the car, turn off the app. People are just talking, bawling out and watching their heart, what they are going through. It's interesting to find people dressed up in their suit from the airport, but you don't know what's going on in their heart. You don't know what there are explosive, dynamite exploding. Before somebody commits suicide, it's already dead on the inside. But you don't see because they are dressed, they are still acting normal, they are still living their life, but you don't know what's going on mentally.
Sure. You can put a facade on, right?
Exactly. And so that's what my being there for them in the community does for them. Once they step in, it just start with, how are you doing? That's why I ask the question, how are you doing?
Not many people ask that question nowadays.
Exactly, because we are afraid of the answer and you don't have the time.
Yeah.
Apparently, you too, you have so many things going on in your own life. You don't have time for others to listen to their own complaint.
Sure.
There are things explosive you are trying to handle, to detonate in your own life. So when would you have time to deal with other people's, the craziness going in their life? Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm being gifted with, the patience and the time to sit with someone, and I care to, enough for the answer you're going to give.
Yes, definitely. And that's been my experience with you when you first joined our networking group. Man, you came in with such an energy that, you're one of the most incredible people I've ever met. You're so kind-hearted and joyful. So why don't you take us back and kind of give us your background? I know you worked for Uber, but go a little bit beyond that. When you came over here, what you went through, tell me a little thumbnail sketch about yourself.
It's been a long journey. I was born, raised up in Nigeria. I experienced hardship, went through a period when even to eat was difficult. Sure. Went to school without shoes or slippers. So I experienced that. So I grew up in poverty. So I understand what it is.
Yes.
And growing up, I swore to myself I was going to make people's life better. They won't go through what I went through. And so that gave me heart for people. That the first thing I did after my high school, I worked a couple of jobs, but I went to become a pastor. And I was in the mission field. So I was traveling to villages, taking relief to people who are in need. Okay. So it's been my life to bring relief, to sort of find a way to relieve what you're going through, to how can I be part of what you're going through, to make it easier for you. So that is my life, and that is what keeps me going. From that experience, when I got married, God opened up for me. My wife, she's an American, and I came here after we got married.
How'd you guys meet?
She came on a mission trip.
Oh, how neat.
Yes, exactly.
It was destiny.
Exactly. So destiny, I'm doing mission. here is a couple of Americans coming to do mission in Nigeria. And I was the one to be the coordinator for them in Nigeria.
Oh, how fun.
And so in that trip, we got talking and started talking. And I'm also a spiritual man. There are things I know people don't know ordinarily.
Yes.
And so my encounter with her was that there were things that happened while she was a child. And someone called me and said, hey, Obi, come and pray for me in my hotel room. And I went to pray for the lady. My wife, then she came in, and after I prayed for her, my wife too. Then we're not married, she was just, and after praying, I just heard this understanding. I said things to her, and those things happened when she was a child. So when I left, she followed me. She was like, how did you know this about me? Because it happened when I was a child. How did you know? So I didn't know. It's just, that's being spiritual.
Sure.
You get to know things in the past, things in the future, and things right now. It just comes like a gift. And that brought us together. She's like, I want to know the things you know and how you know these things.
Sure.
And so after that, we started talking and the relationship developed. And after a while, I'm like, okay, I think you're my wife. And she was like, no, I don't think you're my husband. Let's just be brothers and sisters, But eventually one day I just said to myself, I need to know this girl, who she is. And she's like, okay, if that's the case, I have a second name. Nobody knows that name. You have to guess that name. I'm like, how will I know a second name that you have? Nobody knows.
She's testing your gift.
She's testing me. Yeah. If you know you're spiritual, I want to hear you.
Yeah.
How accurate can you be?
Yeah.
So one day we're talking on the phone. She was here in the US and I was in Nigeria, and we're talking, and I called her by that name, Princess. I said, you are Esther. The phone went dead.
She dropped it.
She dropped it. It was like I was reading her mail.
Wow.
She couldn't handle it. She's like, how did you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't just know. It just came. It's like when you're a spiritual person, when you walk with God, you don't prepare for those things. They just come to you and you say it. And people are like, how did you know? I didn't know a minute before I met you. It just dropped in my spirit to say that. And so we kept going after it. She was like, no, it was just too fast for her. It was too fast for her. It's like, I'm reading her mail. I'm knowing things about her. She doesn't, anybody.
She's got to catch up to you because you got this gift, right?
Exactly. So that made her kind of pulled away. But eventually when she came back to Nigeria, I'm just cutting everything short. When she came back to Nigeria, about 9 months later or 10 months later, she decided she's ready for us to get married, even though it was just too much for her level of understanding,
sure.
And I said, okay, now you're ready. When do you want us to get married? She said to me on the 18th, and this was 2005.
Okay.
June 2005.
18 years ago? No, 19 years ago.
19 years ago. So she said to me on that day was on the 9th. She said yes, and we're talking, just went out to talk in a restaurant, and I said, so when do you want us to get married? She's like, I think we should get married on the 18th before I go back to the US.
In 10 days?
In 10 days, I want us to get married. And I said, do you actually have this date on my diary? A year before I met her, I had a dream that I was getting married on the 9th and the 18th. I wrote it in my diary. When I brought the diary and showed her, she freaked out.
Oh my gosh. I would freak out too.
She freaked out like, exact date, 2 dates on the 9th and on the 18th.
Wow.
She was like, oh my God, who is this guy I'm getting married to?
Talk about divine intervention, huh?
Exactly. It's like a spirit. He's a human being, but he's a spirit. Just walking, But that is the level I like to operate in, where I'm not constrained by this physical world. So when I came to the US, I also brought that same level of spirituality with me, but I didn't go further to pursue it because life started happening. I went back to school, go to college. Then we're living in Boston. So I went to college in Boston, Framingham State. And then kids came and,
a whole lot,
I couldn't pursue, I couldn't give myself to, because it's something, if you don't pursue it, you lose it. You don't use it, you lose it.
Sure.
So other things distracted me. But when we moved here to California, a lot of things began to happen because when you lose your center point, things begin to disorganize.
Sure.
The center can no longer hold. For me, spirituality is my center of my being. Uh-huh. If I'm not there, everything begins to fall apart. So right now, we're no longer together, part of that. and driving Uber and doing all this and happening random here and there, boom, 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 boom. Also being to tie back to who I am, who I used to be. And I'm saying to myself, okay, I think it's time now to go back to what I'm used to, who I am as a person and what I am to my community. And that's why I'm starting this community where we're going to be praying, we're going to be blessing, and we're going to be gifting to people. Because that's how I work. That's my secret.
That's your purpose in life, right?
Exactly. Give to people, So that's the short story. Everything ties together. In Nigeria, last 2020, where I went back after 10 years, I went back to Nigeria.
Wow. Okay.
Logan, many people came to me like, Pastor Obi, thank you for the prayer you prayed for me. You said this to me 12 years ago, 10 years ago, it happened. I'm like, did I? You can't remember. I say, I can't remember because it's like 12 years. I don't keep track of people.
Little capacity up there, yeah.
Exactly, to keep track of people I'm praying for. The things I said to you, but it just overwhelmed my heart when people just came and they hugged me and they said, thank you for that word. Thank you for the things you said. One stood out. It was a friend of mine who is a pastor. He invited me to his church and he took me around to the church, massive church, school. He's built massive school. He said to me, Obi, you gave me a word. I held on to that word. That word built everything you're seeing today. Look, and I fell on my knees. He said, that word you gave to me is what built everything you're seeing today. I'm telling you, massive church, massive school, children are coming, parents are happy. He's reaching out to his community. And I said, thank you for that word you gave to me in 2008. I held on to that word. I've remained at the cutting edge. And I'm saying to myself, here I am, just Obi. And I'm giving people words that are opening doors for them, making them, achieve who they are. They are building stuff. They are building things like edifices.
You're seeing the purpose manifest in life.
Exactly.
That's neat.
I'm seeing this thing. I'm like, so there is power in the word. So the things I'm doing, even just interacting with people and I'm saying things to them, it's not ordinary because I believe in it. Now, this same guy, this same pastor, his name is Sam. When I was in Nigeria, he invited me to preach in his church. That was 2005. I went to his church to preach. After preaching, as I was going home, then I used to have Akira Legend, 2 doors, smart car. I heard in my spirit say to me, Obi, that car belongs to him. Give it to him. Because then he had no car. He was just struggling pastor with his family and they traveled very far to come to where we have fellowship at the city. So he has to enter bus or take a taxi with his family and they were large. And as I was entering my car that day, I heard that word, this car belongs to him. I said, okay. So in the evening we met. He came with a taxi with his family. In the evening we met. I said, come. He followed me downstairs to the parking garage. I said, here, this car belongs to you. He was shocked, like,
I'm shocked.
What do you mean? I said, when I finished this song in the afternoon in your church, as I was leaving, I heard that word in my spirit, give this car to you. So this car is to give me a week. I'm going to take care of it and then come and pick it up. And I said to him, this is not the car you're going to be driving. This car will open door for other cars. Other prosperity. Mine is to open the door and the gate for others. So whatever I'm giving to you is not your solution. It's a key.
Sure.
He couldn't believe it. For him, he said to his wife, when he got home, he's like, can you believe this? The wife like, I only have one car and I'm giving it away. How am I going to be coming to church?
This guy?
How am I going to be doing this?
Yeah.
And so the day they came to pick up the car, he couldn't drive. He came with his brother. And he was surprised. I gave him the key, the document and everything. They entered the car. I showed him the way out and I walked home. The brother said to him, what kind of a human being is this that will give up his car and then trek home? So he couldn't believe it. 6 months down the line, he got a gift, another car, brand new car. He called me, he was screaming. He said, you said this to me? I said, yes. This is not a car. It's an open door for you. It's a key. Sure. I've seen it work for people. Yeah. When I bless you, you are blessed. When I say to you, hey, Logan, how you doing? I mean it. I'm not just saying as routine.
Yeah.
I really mean because I'm waiting for the answer.
Heart.
Exactly. Because I care about the answer you give. I'm waiting for it. Because I know I have a part to play. That is who I am. If I give you, like I came today, I have a $25 gift card for you.
Oh, give it to someone else, Obi. I'm more than blessed, but I thank you.
I will do that. But what I'm doing is that I give it to people as a gift to open door. It won't solve any problem for you. It's not meant to solve a problem. It's meant to be a key to open door.
Mm-hmm. To
for
step
whatever
in
you
the right
ask,
direction.
exactly.
Right?
So whatever you spend it on, it brings more. Whatever you think, you can give it to someone, it brings more. Because that's what I want to do in my community. To continue the chain. If I give you give to others. Others give. I encourage, keep doing that. When you do that, you give to yourself out of poverty. You give to yourself out of sickness. You give to yourself out of whatever you are going through. You can actually come out of that by gifting.
When you give more, you receive more, right?
Exactly. So that is the principle that I live by. Someone said to me while in Nigeria, the guy he had a shirt that was used, and he felt in his heart to give me the shirt. I was like, "But this shirt is used. How am I going to give him a used shirt?" So he called me and said, "I'm very sorry. This is a used shirt, but I've dry cleaned it. I want to give it to you, but I don't know why I just felt to give it to you." I said, "It's not the shirt. It's open door for you yourself." So I took that shirt, I wore it, and I was very happy, and I prayed over it. A week later, the guy got 7 brand new shirts. He ran to me and said, "Obi, can you believe I gave you a used shirt? Yeah. I got 7 brand new ones." Wow. I said, because it's not about what you are giving to me. I am a channel. I am a gift to humanity. I'm a channel. If I give you or you give to me, it opens door for me. So I understand the role that I play in my community.
When did you start understanding that you had this gift? Was it something that was from a young age, or was it something that you learned becoming a pastor?
It's something I learned becoming a pastor. And it's not like somebody taught me. Just like as you see things, you do things, it's hard, like give. And that might be the only thing that I have in my pocket. For instance, I have like $10 and somebody is hungry. And I feel like giving to the person. And I say, okay, all I have is $10. I'm going to give it to you. I give you my $10. You go eat. Because there is this understanding. If I do that, I'm going to have my own need met. So I don't know how it came. I just know that my own need will be met. And also say that I'm a bridge. Like there are guys who might come here now. They don't know how to reach you. To say, "Hey, Logan, can you give me $20? But they can reach me.
Sure.
And say, "Obi, I need $20. I'm like, okay, all I have is 20 and I'll give to you. But I can reach you. They can't come to you, but they can reach me. Mm-hmm. And I can come to you because I have a relationship with you and say, "Logan, man, I have nothing. I need 20. You give it to me." But when they look at you, they're like, "I don't know how to approach you, but I can approach Obi." Mm-hmm. I understand them. I'm also a bridge.
When we first met you, we all were amazed because you have this unique ability to approach people and you already feel like you're best friends for life.
That is it. It's a gift that so after a while, I begin to notice that this is how it's working. It's a pattern. When you know your pattern, you no longer struggle with something or some instructions like to give up your car or give up your shoes or give up something that is very important to you to survive. Because you've done it over time and you've seen the result. Yeah. So you're no longer bothered. I'm no longer tied down to physical things or realities or material. It's just an accessory. For me, everything I see in life is an accessory. So if I have it and I feel the need to give it at that time, so it means for me there's a new level I'm going to. When I give up that, something else comes. It might not be a car. It might be something, sure, that I need or come to me. So my life is a life of a mystery. When I was probably like 6 months old, I was so sick. I mean, sick, really sick. My mom took me to the hospital. They couldn't do anything for me. I was, just having diarrheas and vomiting. A 6-month-old, sure. 6-month-old, and they couldn't do anything for me. So they told her, "We can't help you. Take him home." Wow. So she brought me home. A couple of minutes later, I actually died. I died.
Wow.
My mom was crying. My grandmother was crying. The whole village, compound, we live in a compound. People gathered. The women came to come and console them. Mm-hmm. My grandfather was at home. So he asked them to go dig my grave. The way we organize in Africa is a community. It's round, everybody. So the young guys that were there say, hey, go dig the grave. They went and dug the grave. About an hour later, they came back to come and bury me. My grandfather said, no, wait. And that day happened to be a market day. So on a market day, the elders go to market, nobody's at home. So you don't bury when nobody's at home. Okay. So he said, okay, wait till 4 p.m. When they start coming back from market, then we can bury him. And they waited. Around 3:30, the young men came again and said that we are ready. Let's go because when a child died in my place, we don't leave the child till the next day. We bury that same hour. If a boy less than 12-year-old dies, we don't wait because they're still considered just young soul.
Okay.
They're not actually human, that you go through those rituals.
Mm-hmm.
So when a baby dies, we just wrap the baby and bury it because it's still a forming soul or spirit that's not really stabilized. And so they came back and said, hey, let's go bury him. My grandfather said, wait again.
Your grandpa knew.
For some reason, he just said, wait again. Then my grandmother, she told me that she felt, because I've been covered with clothes, she felt the clothes move by my feet side, my feet were moving. And she said to them that his feet is moving. They said, oh, it's just an illusion. When somebody dies that you love, you begin to think they are moving their hands or they are talking. They're not saying anything, it's just your imagination. It's playing on your imagination. So she waited again. And then she said she felt my finger moved. At that point, she got up, removed the blanket they covered me with, and took me and put water in my mouth, and my tongue started moving. That's how everybody's like, oh my God, everybody ran around, the whole women, they brought things to massage me.
That's a miracle.
It was a miracle. Imagine if it wasn't a market day.
You would have been in the ground.
I would have been in ground within 1 hour. I would have been buried.
How long were you?
About 4 hours.
Oh my
4
gosh.
to 5 hours. I was dead.
And there's no explanation.
No explanation. My grandfather just said that this boy has a mission.
Yeah.
He has a purpose.
You were put on this earth for a reason.
Exactly. Because things are aligned with my not being buried that day. It could only be divine.
Yeah.
So from that point, as my grandmother tells me all this story all the time, they reenact, they let me know who I am. So it lets me also know my role in society is different from others. I have a part to play. No matter how little it is to make somebody's life better, or to move up,
Yeah.
So
just to help uplift everyone who's having whatever physical, mentally, spiritually deficiency, whatever it may be. Your path is to help them out.
Exactly. So I walk into a room, I just, you carry it along with you. I'm not trying to this. No, I don't struggle with trying to, it's just who I am, like you are. You don't struggle to be Logan. You're just Logan.
Just who you are.
It's just who you are. The same way I walk in, either in my car, one guy came into my car, he slept for about 30 minutes. When he woke up, he said to me, thank you. I don't know what's in your car, but I've not slept for 2 weeks. I just walked into your car and I started sleeping.
Huh.
It's like
it was safety.
It was exactly. So I had those experiences.
Sure.
People just walk into my space, something changes for them.
Yeah.
They could feel it. They were like, there's something about, I don't know. They don't have words for it. They can't qualify it.
Yeah. So when you're telling people this, and I'm sure there's quite a few that are like, okay, Obi, sure. I'm a little skeptical. How do you respond to those people?
People, it's experience. If you experience it, you cannot be skeptical about what you know for yourself.
Yeah.
And mine is not, I'm not trying to convince you. Once you meet me and we deal and we talk, all that comes from your mouth is like, I think I just met an angel. Uh-huh. I can't tell you how many times people just shed tears of joy, like consistently, tears of joy. Sure. So again, I'm not going for everybody. I know that certain people that come into my car, they were meant to be there because they too will tell you, I didn't know how I came into your car. I just know this is divine.
You're not soliciting. You're just allowing people to come into your space and experience what you're able to provide.
And then the ones that are meant for me to speak to, it just opens. I don't try to force it out of them. I just, maybe one word here. How is your day going? What is it been like? What is going on? Sometimes I can sense when people are under tension, when they are stressed, when they walk into the environment, they can disturb the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. If somebody is anxious, if you're sensitive, you can tell when someone is anxious. Once they walk into your room, they'll disturb the atmosphere. You can feel the tension. Even the person is not saying anything, you can feel it. And then you know, okay.
It's like a sixth sense you have.
Exactly. You can sense when somebody is not stable, when they are afraid, when they are going through something. And then you can just say 1 or 2 words to them. And because there is safety, you're not judging them, they open up to you.
Sure. They're able to feel vulnerable with you.
Vulnerable. And that's the word. A woman said to me, I don't know why I'm telling you all this in matrimonial issue with the husband, things, intimacy in their bedroom. She was like, I don't even know why I'm telling you this. I said, because you're in a safe space.
Sure.
I'm not doing anything with it.
Yeah, certain people have that ability. I know sometimes I used to go get my hair cut and I'm just talking to the barber and I'm like, why am I telling you all this? And it's just some person that you feel comfortable talking to.
Exactly.
And maybe you're not going to ever interact with them again, or it's a very limited basis. So it's maybe safety.
Exactly. And that's what happens. You feel safe. You feel someone is actually caring enough to talk to you.
Sure.
I met this woman. She said to me, after we talked, I just felt like being silent that day, not to say anything. She just kept talking and kept talking and kept talking. When I got to her destination, I just said 1 or 2 words to her. I prayed for her. And she said to me, thank you. Because all I wanted is for someone to hear me out. I just needed someone to talk to. And thank you for listening to me and for hearing me out.
I was thinking that before you told me the story. I said, one of the things I had written down was Obi has these gifts for saying the right thing at the right time. But the other component to that is, when to listen, and you actively listen. So people will engage with you, and you, with your nonverbal communication, draw you in. It's like, it's almost like a law of attraction almost. You're just like, you want to tell you something, and you just have an ability to listen. Yeah. And then you know when to transition, what to say and when to say it. And you say it with as few words as possible, but you have very, very powerful messages. I think that was one of the things that everyone in our group was amazed. You would say like a one-liner and was like, oh, wow. Obi, can you come over here and record something for my company? But they're so powerful and impactful. And
Thank you.
It's a duality that you have, the ability to say the spoken word, but also the ability to listen. And I think that's really neat.
Thank you.
So it's funny that I was just thinking that at the same time you were telling me that story.
Thank you. So yeah, that's what I want to, and many more I want to bring to the community that I'm starting, because someone said to me, we need a community. We need a community. That's one thing I felt. Sometimes I said that I just wish there's a community where this can be done. And so I'm putting together this community where you can now come.
Is it going to be a physical community or an online community?
It's going to be an online.
Okay.
Online community. You can log in and you can find words like even prayers. I will say prayers over people or pray. You just can download download it and just play it in your car.
Okay.
I'll be praying. I'll be blessing. I'll be saying some words. I'll be reading some words to you. You can also read to yourself, because I believe in the power of the spoken words. Like you said, I've seen it change people, because you frame your word by your word. I know the power of the spoken word. Mm-hmm. And so when I say those things, I mean it. When I say, Logan, you are blessed, I mean it. I'm not just saying because
you're not paying lip service to people.
Exactly.
You're not getting anything out of this.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. For me, if I meet someone, I said, good morning. Actually, it's a wish. It's a prayer. When I say good morning to you, it's a good afternoon. I'm saying, let the afternoon be good.
Because when a lot of people interact, it's a transaction.
Exactly.
There's no intention or emotion behind it.
At all. They just say good afternoon as courtesy. But for me, when I say it, I really mean it from my heart, that I'm saying, exactly, let your afternoon be good. I'm intentional with the word. I don't just say things because I want to say. Sure. If I say good morning, Logan, I actually mean today will be good for you. This morning till the night will be good for you. It's a prayer. Simple as that.
So in this community, will people have direct access to you, or will it be Obi has a recording and people can go in there and listen to it? What's the format you're going to have in this community? So people will have access to the recording and material, but also have access to me. Like you have something specifically you want me to pray about or talk about, we can schedule a time and I will give you that time. 30 minutes, 15 minutes online. We can have Zoom, listen to you. And then I will say 1 or 2 things and just pray as I'm led or as I feel.
and we can meet several times depending on how we sense it to go, or it could just be one-off thing, and it's done. I also, what I do, or what I want to integrate is the aspect of giving. After praying, I send something to you, an object. It could be a card, it could be physical cash, it could be something. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm going to be incorporating in this organized way I'm doing right now, from what I've done before with Uber Ride, which I used to do back in Nigeria, is that after I meet with people and I pray with them, I don't leave them empty-handed. As an act of my own faith, let's say you came in like, oh man, I'm just down, I'm needing financial breakthrough, or someone is sick or something. A lot of time I feel in my heart, checking my wallet, even if it's $1, I put it in your hand. I said, I'm praying over this, that this will be a point of contact to open door for you to reach that distance. So I always establish a point of contact between me and you. And it's also an act of my own faith, believing with you that this is going to work for you.
Definitely. It's we have a saying, it's called pay it forward. You have a way of giving a gift to someone, and hopefully that they will accept that gift and pay it forward to the next person, right?
Exactly. As I've done for you, because everybody have the capacity to bless others. The way the world is designed is that you can actually gift your way out of anything. But when we think about gifting, we are thinking of buying you something for someone and give to them. No, when I talk about gifting, it means you are intentional. I don't just give you a gift. I pray over that gift. It's a blessing. If I give you this, I place the hands and I said, as you are using this, may it bless you. May it bring more of this, and whatever you are looking for, may it bring more. So for me, every gift I give is a point of blessing. Sure. It's not just the object. The object is a vehicle to carry the intention of my heart and my word to you. See, anything I give to people anywhere,
the power of the word behind the gift is the most impactful point of that gifting process, right?
For people, the gift, it begins and ends with the gift. Yeah. Their appreciation begins and ends with that object. For me, it's only a vehicle for further things you're going to be receiving.
It sets off a chain reaction, because a person hears that and they say, oh wow, Obi just gave me his last $1 in my pocket and he said something magical. And it's going to get them in the right mindset to go do the same.
Exactly. So he opens up for you. And for you, you have to be a channel. You have to be like the conduit for it to continue. I don't want it to stop with you. Sure. As I've done, do for others. Do for others. I've met people who enter my car, like, oh, I don't have money to pay for it, or my card, whatever happens, something happened. I say, okay, just enter. Or we stop somewhere. It's like, my house or where I'm going is like 3 or 4 blocks away. I said, okay, I'll take you there. It's for free.
Some drivers are gonna kick you out and make you walk.
Exactly, yeah. I'm like, no. Or can you take us to the other side? Is 1 mile away or 2 miles away? It's okay. I will do it for you. You're not charging? No. Life is not about money.
Yeah, you can't die with money, right?
Exactly. So you need to be someone who begin to see human beyond, dollar. When you don't see dollar on their face. See them as human first. Yes, I make my living out of it. But again, I understand that life is more than that dollar. Yeah. So when I see Logan, I'm not looking at a dollar sign. I'm looking at a personhood, a person, a human. So you need it's like 3 miles away from here. It's going to take me 15 minutes. You don't have Uber. You don't have Venmo or Zelle to, okay, just get in, let's go. Mm-hmm. It's going to cost me 15 minutes. Maybe less than 15 cents this in gas, right?
Yeah.
That's my blessing to you. Go do for the others the same way. What I've done for you, do for others.
And that's the payment you're asking for.
Exactly. Replicate it. Now, if we do the same in our community, you can imagine what our community would be like if everybody is doing the same for everybody.
It would be a whole lot nicer and more amicable. You've mentioned the role of community a few times, and you came from Nigeria, and you mentioned that the way your village was situated was circular and it was a compound. How can you differentiate the role of community where you came from versus what you experienced when you came to Boston and then California? Did you see a market or like a big difference? Talk to me about that.
There's a big difference. Community in Africa, we're born into it. We think community. We live community. In America, community is a function of a class or hobby or interest. You have communities that like nature, so they build around that, nature watchers or people who like to go to the gym. They build their own community. Sure. So it is towards doing something.
Some like micro communities.
Exactly. Every community is channeled to doing things. We just live community. It's not for doing things. It's our life. Mm-hmm. There is a word for it in Africa. It's called Ubuntu, which means I am because you are. I am because we are. So it's a different way of seeing community.
It's like coexistence.
Completely. I live because you live. I'm actually alive because you are alive. Right. So without you, I can't exist. So it's a different way of seeing community. It's not because we have certain interests we are pursuing. We're in the banking industry, then we form a community. No. We are just born into it. So we exist together. So everybody is important. Whether you have money or don't have money. In my place, they said, when you come to a family, there are different people. There are those who have money. There are those who have words of wisdom. There are those who don't have money, don't have wisdom. They can't think, but they have legs. They can have physical power. They can lift things. Yeah. So everybody is important.
Everyone has a purpose.
Exactly. So whether you have money or you have wisdom, you can say, okay, let's do this, and this. And then somebody there has none of those, but have physical power. Is also important. So we need the three. So every community, you have the same way, like you look at here, we have the same people. There are those who don't have money, but they know how to run. They can do the job. There are those who don't have money, but they have wisdom. They are just repertoire of wisdom. They can give you, things to do. When we begin to see community like that, then everybody knows they can offer something. You don't have to be this. I don't have to be Logan, or I have to just be me. Maybe mine is just, I can run. That's what I'm bringing on the table. So it's just live. And that's how we are born into it. We grew into it. We don't even think it's as community. Until I now have a word for it.
The way of life, right?
Exactly. It's just now that I have a word for it, but then I didn't have word for it. I just know this is how we lived life.
Yeah.
Everybody checks on everybody. You come out, they knock on your door. You're not coming out to what's going on. Oh, you're having headache. Okay. But here, if you have headache, nobody's coming to come and knock on your door. We have not seen you for a day. What's going on? Because in community, we check on each other.
Yeah, the U.S. is very driven by individuality.
Exactly. There, if we're doing something and I didn't see Logan for 2 days, something is wrong. I come to your house, my friend, or Diokba, my man, like, what's happening? Why didn't we see you or your children are playing outside? Yeah. Somebody checks on you. Here, people can stay in their house and commit suicide. Nobody even will find out.
Yeah.
Because nobody's checking.
No one's checking on each other.
They don't see for 2 days. Nobody's asking. Something is wrong. Somebody's missing in the chain.
How hard was it for you to come from your village and go to Boston? Was it like a shock how different the community and the way of life was?
It was a shock, the way Americans deal. Complete shock, completely different. The way they think, the way they see reality is different. Apart from coming from a community, I have my religious and faith background where I look at the world of things in this life from here. I'm looking at it this way. I can interact and I can withdraw. Sure. I can decide not to interact with, here. And I have this perspective where I'm looking at things, I'm deciding for myself. But for America, you are into it. You don't even know. It's like a fish in water. You have no perspective. So because the water, all you know your life is the water. Sure. That's your perspective. So when I came and I began to see, I said, oh my God, the way the system is woven, America is like a basket. People, I think within 3 months of being in America, somebody said to me, what do you think of America? And I gave him that example. And I said to him, America is like a basket. It's woven so neatly, but there are cracks. And it's constantly shaking, moving. People have to keep moving. If you don't, you fall through the crack. It depends on gravity and motion to keep going. The moment you drop from that gravity, boom. And once you fall from the crack, you are gone. You see homelessness. You see drug abuse. You see brokenness. That's those who have been shaken so much, they couldn't maintain the speed of the system. They fall through the crack.
They don't know which way is up and which way.
Exactly. So that's the way. And the guy was like, he was like, this is a new way of seeing America. How do you know? I said, well, because I'm come from the outside. I'm an outsider. So I can look at your system and see how the whole thing is woven.
Yeah. So many people in your situation would feel the anxiety of not knowing what's coming next, where it's coming from, and it can be paralyzing.
It is because of the way the system is also woven. The system, you have to keep moving, and that's what's paralyzing them. If they no longer keeping up pace with this speed, they become fearful, and when they become fearful, it slows them down to the point now they drop. Sure. So because you see, America is one place I see that if you lose your job within a month, in 2 months you are homeless, your car is repossessed, you are nowhere. Within 2 months, you lose everything that you have. It's the one system that have seen that. Yeah. Not where I come from. You can be in Nigeria without a job for 6 months, 1 year. Somebody is sheltering you, a brother or a sister, or somebody, even a random friend can say, oh, put your things underneath my staircase or in my garage, or come and squat here and live here. Because that is how we are. That's the community. That at some point, just helping you get together, you get something doing, things will begin to happen. But here in America, boom, the moment you lose your job, 2 months, the person is on the street. Yeah. 3 months, he's lost his car. 4 months, he's looking disheveled. And if you don't take care of him that time, within a year, he's become a lunatic on the streets. You see them on Hollywood. You see them everywhere. They had family. But where is the family? Because the system is not designed to be a community. You have to be within certain group or class or interest to belong to a community. And that community doesn't even care except for the hobby. Mm-hmm. The day you stop participating in that hobby, you are no longer part of the community.
Drop out of that community.
You drop out of that community. That's the way it is built.
Yeah. So in your you've been here 19 years, right?
Yeah.
How have you been able to navigate either keeping your traditional way of life or assimilating to life in America? Talk to us about that interaction.
It's been a big challenge because certain things does not work here. Certain beliefs, certain way of living and operations does not work here. And it has really also hurt me in a way because I was trying to kind of see how to manipulate or how to make things work from where so it took me long to begin to decide to assimilate, like, okay, for me to survive here, I need to let go certain things. But the fundamentals of who I am, it's not negotiable. Sure. But there are also other beliefs, other traits, other things that I need to go because it cannot be sustained by this America itself because it's different world. So those things I have to let go. And it has taken me time to build your place to the place now where I can actually have both values and they're not contradictory. So it takes a while for you to go through that phase.
Sure. It's a tough process, I imagine, for someone who's not used to the system.
Yeah, you were born, for Americans, listen, those who are born here, they grew up here. So the system is embedded in them. Mm-hmm. For some of us, I came here as an adult. I came here when I was 35 years old. So I was already an adult. Sure. So it took a while. It took a lot.
It's a little bit harder to change.
Yeah, to unlearn and then relearn the system. And English is not even my first language. I have my own language that I speak. So, and they say it's like when somebody says something to you in English, your brain takes it back to your local language, interpret it, and then you
interpret it.
Exactly.
It's
before
like
you now
trying
respond.
To speak Spanish.
Exactly. So your brain does this, interprets, gives you some meaning, and then gives it back to you, and then you can now respond. So it takes a while to, So these are things you begin to learn of like, oh wow, no wonder, But at the end of it's a great country. It's just some of us have difficulty adjusting to the way it is set up because we've been outside for too long. At the age of 35, coming here to learn how to use your left hand when you're already 30 years, it's difficult.
Yeah.
It is a little,
Do you notice when you go back to Nigeria that you have lost some of the ways of the homeland, or is it like you hit the ground running and you're back and you're already back to the way you were?
Yeah, I don't think I've lost some of the ways. Maybe I'm not keeping in touch with realities of modernity, that is interfering with the way we live right now. Because also, Africa is also changing. It's morphing. America is like a cultural driver. They drive narrative across the globe. So everybody is looking at America and trying to adjust to be like Americans. So there is also, they are modernizing. And those are things that surprise me. When I go back, I'm like, see, wow, these people are modernizing. But fundamentally, once I hit ground, I'm running because I'm still I still call my family, we talk and we speak our language, because everything, your culture is your language. When you speak, you understand. It's who you are. It's embedded in me. So when I get there, I blend. They don't even know that I'm in the States. I blend, except I tell you I'm from the States, you wouldn't know.
When you talked about how it's changing a little bit, have you noticed with the younger generation that they're losing maybe some of what you grew up with? Talk to us about the younger generation in Nigeria coming up in comparison to the way it was when you were growing up.
A lot has changed. A lot has changed since when I left.
Is it for the good, bad, or not sure?
It's both ways. A lot has changed in terms of people are more aware, especially with social media. They are doing more on social media. Accessibility. Exactly. But we're seeing a lot of the influences of other culture interrupting our culture. Some of the good ones, they are losing it. The things that we wouldn't do when we were young would be considered abominable or abomination. They are doing it. We're seeing it interfering in family. Like for instance, in my culture, I mean, to have an affair with somebody's wife is an abomination. Now we're seeing women doing this. Why? Because coming from the Western culture, and it is free world. You're not being judgmental. Nobody's. But in my culture, I grew up like, you can't, or you impregnate a girl and then decide you won't marry her. It is looked down upon.
Yeah.
But here people do it. They just get pregnant and then, it's a state will take care of you. But in my place, it's like, even some father will tell you, if she's good to be impregnated, she must be good for marriage. So if you impregnate a girl, your father will insist that you marry her. Some families are very strict. So these are some of the things, cultures that we had where, because it is meant to stabilize the community. It's meant to bring some order. You can't just do whatever you like and go scot-free. Yeah. If you put a girl in the family way, be responsible for her. You're going to marry her. If she's good for that, she should be good also for marriage. That's what you have. So there are things you learn, people say, the elders say about, they talk about it, and it changes who you are. So when you are dealing with someone, you are very careful because you don't want to do something that will hurt that person or their family or their name. So you are very, very careful how you deal. But now, all those things are no longer as strong as it used to be.
Bonds are weakening a little bit, yeah. Exactly.
Respect for the elders. An elder walks in here right now, there's only one seat. I will get up. Or a woman comes here, I will get up for her. These are things that we learned. Or in a bus, an elderly person or a lady or a girl comes, you get up. It's not by age, you get up because it's something that is taught to you, part of the growing up in the community. But here, and that was part of the thing that shocked me in America. Like, you see a young, maybe 20-year-old sitting down, and somebody, a grandmother or a mother of 50, 60 standing in the bus or in the train. I'm scratching my head.
Why aren't they getting up and giving the seat away?
Give up their seat. For me, it took me a while to really accept that this is how it is. There's no old age in America, no old man or old man.
I've noticed because I have traveled throughout the States, it's usually in the urban areas where people are so micro-focused on their little space in front of them that they fail to realize what's happening around them. But if you get outside the urban areas where life is slower, those people will see an old lady or an old gentleman and they'll go open the door for them. They'll offer their seat. They'll take their bag. And I don't know if it's a way of life or just how they interact with life or the speed of life. But there is some hope here. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But I think when you get caught up in the speed of living in the city, you just get so micro-focused on your own self and you lose perspective, which you were talking about in context. You're unable to step back and see the forest for the trees instead of focusing on the trees.
Yes. I completely agree with you. For me, I believe there is hope for society, no matter how bad it is. I believe there is hope for society. all we need to do is everybody start doing something. I've met people say to me, "Oh, Obi, I don't want to have a child because the world is such a crazy place. The world is dangerous. Why do you want to bring a child into this world? Why do you want to do this? Why do I want?" I'm like, good does not depend on everybody. It depends on you. Start doing good. If you don't give birth, the bad ones will give birth. We want to have more bad people in society. But if we want to counter evil, those who are good must be to produce, must be to have skill, must be to raise up, give. And so, there's so much. Of what effect can my $1 do? We're not looking at the macro level. Start at the micro level. Sure. What can I, Obi, do? What can I, Logan, do? I can give $1. I can give 20 minutes of my time to a young person and listen to their story. When you do it for that person can do it for 2 or 3 other people. Who you are beginning to spread.
You see the ripples in the pond.
Exactly.
And they just start rippling out.
Exactly. But when you look at it from that, say, a micro level, it is overwhelming. You don't even want to try. Because like, who can I change?
Get overwhelmed, right?
Exactly. Who can I? But when you break it down to just one-on-one, if I make impact today, like yesterday I was driving, I prayed for 3 people. That for me had made my whole day for yesterday. Yeah. The 3 people I prayed for, one of them, she was looking, hoping for something good to come. And by the time we finished praying, I finished praying for her and her family, the brother and the friend. You can see the tears of joy. That's what I'm looking for. There is hope. That person now, when what she's looking for comes to pass because I prayed for it, she's going to remember. And she's going to do it for somebody else. I've sown a seed. Yeah. That is my job. If I'm going to change Ventura County, start with someone. It's not the whole of Ventura you're going to touch. There's people who, by destiny, they'll come your path. They will pass, your path will cross. All you need to do is to just be, is this the right person to sow the seed?
Have your eyes open.
Have your eyes, exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking while you were talking about that. Do you believe in coincidences, or do you believe there are opportunities to affect change? How do you feel about that?
Every coincidence is an opportunity. I met a young man driving Uber, and I go right here. One of these guys, they are millionaires. They live. I've seen them all. Young guys is 25 or 21. Very young, they're in the financial sector with the father. And he said, "We are rich. I'm rich." And I mean it, like mansion. They live in mansion. When I drove up to where it's mansion. And while we're talking, I'm start talking about, do you believe in God? It's like he doesn't. I said, why? So he lost his mother. He was praying for his mother. Mm-hmm. But God allowed his mother to die. His father is 70-something years old. So that means he's going to be left taking care of his younger ones. I didn't see his need. I was trying to tell him about God. And there was clash. Sure. Because he was not open. Yeah. I was not paying attention to his emotional state where he was. Yeah. I was trying to fix the problem instead of I think at this point, this guy has legitimate reason why he doesn't want anything to do with God. Sure. He's disappointed. He sees himself moving in the world. And I think he was even tipsy when I picked him up. So there are a lot of things playing out at that point. So after we had a couple of discussions, it wasn't going anywhere. And he just kept, and after a while, it's like, okay, I just stopped. So when I dropped him, I said to myself, what did you do wrong? I wasn't paying attention to his need. Mm-hmm. He's broken. He sees a world where he's going to be alone. Probably the person he loves most in his life is gone, taken from him. He's just 20-something years. He has junior, who probably been there 18 or 6 or 7. The father is already advanced in the age. Mm-hmm. So he won't have him for too long. So he sees himself as now he has to rise up to become mother and father.
Scared probably too.
Exactly. So I didn't take all this into account. I was offering solution without, first of all, digesting his state. All that, I think at that point, all I needed to do would have been just to offer my sympathy. And just, I pray for you that whatever you are going through, there is hope. And that would just be it.
That makes me think when I'm having a disagreement with my wife, sometimes they just want to listen. And as I think it's maybe a male thing, we want to solve things as quickly as possible. And in the process of trying to solve things, we're not doing what they want us to do. And we jump to the conclusion and then we come out like, I offered you a solution. Why isn't it better? When all they wanted you to do was actually listen to their problems.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, I don't really practice that too often.
Sometimes it happens because when people ask questions, the temptation is to try to find a logical answer for them. But a lot of times, they're not looking for answer.
Yeah.
The answer is not what they're looking for. That question is supposed to be an open door for interaction, for relationship. So when you try to address the question, you miss them. They don't know how to let you know. The answer is not what's important. It is you relating with them.
And sometimes there is no answer.
Then sometimes there's no, just being present. Yeah. But like you said, most of the times we want to jump to the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But the answer does not carry the solution. It's just logics.
Yeah.
Why? And I give you this. You got an answer, but did it solve your problem? No. Did it help you where you are right now emotionally? Like that young guy, it didn't help him where he was emotionally. So I was ignoring his emotional state. The future he's seeing that is very bleak. I was trying to offer an answer that doesn't attend to his need. Yeah. So when people ask questions, sometimes the question, like you said, has no answer. Or sometimes the question might not even be the right question.
Sure.
It's for you to listen, to find out what he or she is really saying to that question. And then sometimes it's just being present.
As someone who has a lot of practice in that, for someone like me, who's not always the most in tune with people's aura or whatnot, is there a practical pointer that you can lend to people that will allow them to actually sit there, listen, and instead of answering the question, they'll know what to do in the moment? What's a good practice pointer?
Dealing with human beings to really begin to decode when people are asking questions, you have to be a good listener. Most of it deals with relationship. When somebody asks, listen to their manner, listen to their voice, their tone, not so much as what they are saying. Mm-hmm. And then the context of the situation that you're dealing with. Like you said, you must never try to be the solution or provide the solution. Don't try to, because if you do that way, like I said, you will miss them. The most important part of being human is being present. For them to feel your humanity, empathy, you are listening, you care, you're not judging, you're just there.
Sure.
And also you are sincere. I don't know. If I don't know, I tell you, say, Logan, this question, even I don't know.
But that honesty just establishes a connection
with the person, and they would appreciate that you don't know. And it could just be just sitting with them. That's what they need. Just you being present with them is just what they need at that time. Not the answer to the question. It's just know that there's somebody with me who cares enough to spend 20 minutes with me and just be there.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that in today's world, it's so fast paced. How do you tell people or sit with people that are so constantly in motion? What's one way of actually calming yourself down enough to be present, be intentional, and to actively listen to the person you're speaking to?
No matter the problem you have, never allow it to interfere with the moment you have with that person. Because the thing is, our own need propels us and determines how we deal with people. I'm looking at my time. I'm looking at how much can I give to you. So once you begin to do that, you can never fully be able to give that person that 30 seconds that they need. Because your own need is competing with their need of that person. You don't want that. If I'm going to be with Logan, then before I walk in here, whatever is my need, whatever is my problem, I need to put it aside somewhere. I'm going to spend these 10 minutes with you, and it's just for you. I'm not trying to bring my own thing and start competing with you, because when that happens, you can sense it that I'm not really there for you. Yeah. You can feel it. So that's how I deal, is that I don't allow my own personal need interfere with that 1 minute I want to spend with you. I want to give my all to you. And we may not accomplish, you don't have to accomplish everything that is meant. You just, wherever we stop, tomorrow we continue. If it's meant to be, then we will continue. But this is how much we have right now. We spend it. Let it be quality time with you.
Sure. So I think there's a good word. You're able to compartmentalize really well. Whatever was happening, however long ago we've been here, you're able to leave that at the door. Not everyone has that gift. What's one way you've been able to stop those thoughts, compartmentalize them, and then pick them up once you're done with that person?
Life for me is an eternal reality. Problems, they come, they go. Before I was born, there has always been problems. And when I go, they continue.
There'll be problems, right?
There'll be problems.
Yeah.
So that understanding lets me know whatever I'm facing right now is temporal, but I am eternal. So when I'm dealing with another eternal being, I give that. So whatever is happening, if I cannot solve it before I came here, what's the guarantee that I'm going to solve it in the next 10 minutes when I'm with you?
Sure.
So you just that's where I think. If I have had this problem since last night and I couldn't find an answer, then definitely 20 minutes with you will not be the magical moment I'm going to find the answer. So I leave it there.
A lot of people have problems or trouble leaving things undone. And that's definitely not you. When you're sitting and interacting with people, how do you let them know that it's okay that we didn't achieve a resolution today or find a solution, and maybe we'll pick this up again in a week? Don't stress, don't fret upon it. How do you convey that message to them?
Letting them know that every step in the right direction brings us closer to our destination. So if I spend 20 minutes with you, I want to let you know that 20 minutes is worth it. It was of value. We may not have achieved everything that we want to achieve, but at least we were talking.
Yeah.
Something happened. Sure. Either we just offloaded everything that was in our heart. That will give us something to chew when we meet again, to go think about this. And so when you let them think it that way, that even though the whole problem has not been solved, we have started the process of this and working. And once we start, it's already 50% solved. If we can talk, it's 50% solved.
Yeah. One step forward, and progress is always a positive sign, because most things in life are not solved instantaneously, right? It's a journey. That's why they call life a journey.
Completely. That's what you let them know is a journey. This process will get there. I might not as fast as you want, but one thing, every minute we spend, I want to make it quality time. I want to give all mine to you.
Yeah.
And once you are sincere, people know when you are sincere and when you are honest.
I have a selfish question. Do you ever feel the need to just tap out and be like, I'm all given out. I need some time for Obi. I got to disconnect from trying to be everything for everyone. Tell me about that process.
I do. It's exhausting.
I imagine so.
When you deal with human being drains.
Yeah.
So one of the ways that I relax or I try to regain myself is I take a walk at the beach. I go and I just soak myself and my feet in water.
It's like grounding, right?
Exactly. I ground myself in the ocean and it just washes away. When I go home, I also meditate. Before I leave my house, every day I sit and I go through the Bible and I read and I meditate. It's a kind of rebuilding myself, my cells, everything in me, refueling, because I need that power, I need that word. So I meditate, I take walk in nature, I go to the beach, and also try to disconnect when I want. I have some music I play that sets me in the mode of, it creates an environment for me that I thrive. Certain music, spiritual music, Christian music that I play. And so because everything about us is tuned to that. Once you tune, if you play some music right now, good music right now, you see the water, like they've done that science, the way you can see the water, the structure of the water changes. It looks happy. So the same way, because we are over 70% water. So there are certain things music that I play, I listen to in the morning that sets me up for the day. And when I go home, the same way when I go home, I learn to detach. Either I take a bath, just wash away. It's a ritual.
Yeah.
You cleanse yourself, or you just read one or two things, or you listen to some kind of good music or something that is spiritual. Recycle, see again, get ready for the next day.
For people that aren't spiritual, how do you reconcile talking to people that don't necessarily believe in a higher power or believe in God? And I know you've probably had some interesting interactions. How do you work with those people? Yeah.
Even when they don't believe, they believe in something. Unbelief is, there must be belief in something, some kind of either something they're hoping for, they are looking for, or experience they've had. And so I don't go straight to talk about God. I pick keywords in what they are saying, one or two words I'm picking. Those words give me an idea of where they are or in their journey, whether they're spiritual or they're not spiritual. And I use those to craft a kind of interaction and prayer if we're going to pray, or just sometimes just say a word. I just say something to the person using the words the person has said, because it matters to that person. I just know how to fuse it together to point them to a place of hope, even when you don't understand it is spiritual. But everybody has hope. Everybody knows it is tangible, even though you can't see it. Yeah. So that is what is common with every human being. Faith, hope, love is common with every human being. So I try to frame it in the word that they understand or where they are, and just hope that it would take them to a higher place, as they just keep walking through their life.
That's uplifting, because a lot of people are not as spiritual as other people, and a lot of people have lost faith, like that young man you were talking about, and hopefully they will find something that gives them the purpose to reconnect with whatever makes them happy. And I imagine, there's a lot of people struggling to find purpose in life, to find happiness, to find joy.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to connect with people that they can find, they're always joyful. Well, not always, but meeting you, there's always a smile on your face. And no matter what might be burdening you in that moment, just that Obi smile is like, oh my gosh, it's going to be okay. The problems are there. The problems are going to be there, but we're going to be able to deal with them, or we'll work our way through it. What was the driving force behind your platform that you're currently putting together for everyone to reach out in the community?
Number one is that I've met a lot of people who are looking for opportunity to connect, not just one-off time with me in the car. And they said to me, where can we meet you? Or how can we talk more? How can I move it to the next level?
How can we keep this conversation going
on, and it's hard for me to you give your phone number and then let's talk and this and that because of time. Yeah. And so I began to feel it was time to build a community, to create a platform where all these people can come and they find the resources to help them. I don't have to be there in person. They can just download information or things we have or the prayers itself, and be able to do it for themselves too, where we can all just interact together. Yeah.
That's really neat. It's kind of the nice little nexus between technology and connection. So technology is giving you another level to have more accessibility to more people, and to pass on that message that we've been talking about today.
Exactly. Instead of just one person, one day or one time, now there are more people. Because one thing I came to understand is that if one person has that problem, there is probably millions that are going through the same and are looking for someone to talk to, or some opportunity to just get that kind of help, or air out or get that. So that's the driving force.
Yeah. When you think you're alone, you're most likely not. There's probably a lot of other people that are experiencing the same problems, right?
Exactly.
So where can we find this new platform? I'll link it to the show notes, but tell us where to find you.
Like I said, we are still building it up. That means I'll come back again.
Okay, we'll have you definitely do part 2.
Yeah, exactly. And then announce the platform. We started last night. I think it was going to take about a week.
Okay.
For them to build up the whole thing, and then we'll be on social media.
Okay. So by the time this airs, you will be hopefully up and alive, because there's a little bit of lag time between date of interview and production and publication. So I'll definitely link to it for people that are really interested in hearing what you have to say and getting some community vibes where they're not necessarily getting the community that they're seeking.
Exactly. It's required. It's required. Sometimes I wish I could just take what I have back home and bring it here and help everybody, to be born into it. Like I said, you have to be born into it. Like they don't teach us community. It's not something we go for training. There is no training on community. It's just, you grow up in it. And part of what I also intend to do, with time is, take people on retreat to go and experience Africa, because I think
neat.
there is a need to see how people live
In other parts of the world.
Exactly, and interact with them. Just go there, and then that will open you up to the possibilities. What this looks like for you.
I always tell people that my most formative experiences were traveling and getting exposed to different people, different cultures, and just immersing yourself in it and being open to it. You may not agree with it, but seeing how the people in the world work, it creates conversation, and there is some point where everyone can come together and share common values and common structures. And there may not necessarily be 100% agreement, but as long as you can dialogue and have conversation, we can move forward as a better global community.
It's true. It is true. And more than ever, we need it now. We need people to really, really understand that there are more good people in the world than there are evil people. But because we don't have ways to express it and just talk about it, it seems that the other side is winning, but it's not. With community like this and others that will come along, building the same, we'll be able to encourage positive engagement. Take people. Hey, I was in Kenya 2 weeks ago, and it was awesome. I did some video there. I just went on a retreat and just go feel with the people, spend time alone, being in nature, and the whole place vibes with spirituality. Mm-hmm. Everything breathes. You see people, they have little, but the joy they have is contagious.
Yeah. It's been my experience that often people that aren't necessarily have a lot of possessions, they tend to have a lot more happiness.
Exactly.
And the accumulation of assets, money and stuff doesn't necessarily lead to happiness. You have to be good inside.
Exactly. All those things. And the reason so is because these cultures have understood that everything we have in life are accessories. They are meant to beautify life. They are meant to, kind of add to. They are an addition. They are not the central. So if somebody does not have life in him, there's no amount of accumulation of all this additional that will make difference for him. He's already dead on the inside. But if you have a life, then a shirt, has meaning because you are wearing it. It's not a shirt wearing you. You are wearing it. It's an accessory. Mm-hmm. A car is an accessory for somebody who is alive. All those things, your life is not, they don't have life of their own. But when you don't have those fundamentals about life and what it means and purpose of life, and you're pursuing to accumulate all this, you end up with people having anxieties, mental problem, and all this because those things in themselves does not have life. They're just material. It doesn't have any life.
Yeah. They're accumulating things for the wrong reason, thinking it'll bring them happiness when they have to do some introspection and fix whatever's anguishing them in order to enjoy life.
Those things are actually distraction. They do more damage. Like sometimes you wonder, why would someone like, not I want to mention, but when I drive through Hollywood and I pick people, why would they be having anxiety? Man, you're making it. You live in this place. That's where everybody wants to come and live. But you still have anxiety. You're still dealing with drugs. You're still having suicide rate. People committing suicide in those beautiful mansions.
Yeah.
So that makes you ask questions.
Yeah.
It's not those things.
Yeah.
Because what those things does for you is that it magnifies every inadequacies that you already have. The more you have, the more it magnifies it.
Yeah. And the more problems you have with, the more accumulation you get sometimes.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you were feeling empty before and you now went and bought a Lamborghini, guess what? It's going to increase that loneliness. It's going to detach you and isolate you more from society. And when you go home, you're still sad. In fact, it becomes worse.
Yeah. That's, sometimes the secret to life is decluttering and minimizing and getting back to the basics. And then once you're good with yourself, if you want to go get the accessories in life, then get them. But you always got to be good with yourself first.
Definitely. Like I said, those are meant to make life better. They're meant to make life, easier, not to replace life itself.
Yeah. And life's not supposed to be easy. Life is always going to present some challenges and some difficulties, and it's good to be outside your comfort zone and to have to deal with that, because life is hard.
It is. And it's important to people go and experience life outside of our US. I know, there are places people go through and they still suffer and things are happening. But I really believe that there are things we get from other environments if we just step out.
Yeah, it would broaden a lot of people's perspectives to see how people outside their little local area live. A lot of people don't leave, an hour from their home for a long period of time. And so their knowledge is just based on what they've seen, or maybe what they've absorbed from social media, which we all know is not always accurate, right? We can get on social media another day.
It's not reality.
Yeah, it's not reality. So we've been here for a while, Obi, and you talked about some non-negotiables: meditating, getting and walking, getting out in nature. Are there anything else that you do on a daily basis that help put you in the right mindset, that kind of propel you in your life?
To talk to people that I love and people that love me or care for me. That is indispensable. You must find someone who really cares about you, that loves you for who you are. Call them on the phone. Talk to them. They give you a good vibe. They are waking. Like today, I spoke to my mother. She called me before I came. She called me and we started talking. Deal with a couple of things that was going on in my life, and she started saying the same words. Started praying for me. She started saying, and I kept saying, Amen, Amen, Amen. Yeah. Just hearing her voice and asking me, Obi, how is it going? This, what's going on? And he said, tell me the truth as it is. And I started talking to her. She's my mother. Nobody can love you more than your mother or your father or someone, your family, someone who cares about you. They don't have any...
No agenda, right?
No, exactly. Nothing extra to gain from you. They just want to know, how is Logan doing?
Yeah.
And they're willing to listen. At the end of the day, they say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be doing this for you. I'm going to be saying these words to you. And that is good. If it's your mother, if it's your father, if it's your brother, if it's your friend, contact them, make connection, call them at least once a week or twice a week. Have someone that really cares about you, talk to you, speak into your life.
Yeah.
It's very, very important.
It's so simple too. And we get so caught up that often that simple piece of advice gets pushed to the back burner, and we don't take advantage of the people we love, who are the most important people in our lives, and know you inside and out, when we'll be able to give you some guidance or just listen.
Call them, because they care more about you. Whether it's bad, no matter what happens today, you go back with your bag, your duffel bag, nothing is happening, everything failed. Your father will say to you, come back home. Son, if everything has failed, you still have your room, you still have your home, come back home. Or your mother will say to you, son, I'm still here, come back home. Or your brother will say, bro, man, come back.
Yeah, it's funny. On break, my brother sent me a text message, and it's reaffirming to see that the people in your lives are always sending you positive energy, and just like some little message can make your day a whole lot better. You never know what some kind words will do for people.
That is the kind words.
Just being nice.
Just people who truly care. You're not giving them any money. There's no transaction.
Yeah,
it's love.
too many people, I think, and I'm really guilty of this. I get caught up in my life, and when I engage and interact with people, it is out of courtesy or transaction, and my mind's not there, and you can totally tell, and it's sometimes you catch yourself, and I was such an asshole in that moment. If I just step back and actually look the person in the eye and listen to them, I could have been a lot more receptive to them and given my time and given my intention to them. And I'm guilty of that more often than not. So this is a nice reminder to step back, listen to people, and be kind. You never know how it's going to be paid forward, but that's sometimes the best gift you can give someone.
That is the thing. We must have people that we love or that loves us. It's important. I think that is the greatest virtue in this life is love. Yeah. And people who don't have that, you see the way they are tossed to and fro. There's no stability. They are everywhere. You can sense when somebody has no love life, or someone who is, central in their life.
Yeah, they're unmoored.
Completely. They're like sheep, just
like they're on a boat.
Yeah,
just rocking with the waves, right? And they don't have an anchor in their life.
No,
to use the boat analogy again.
No. So find someone that really loves you for who you are.
Okay, I like that. I stole this from another podcast that I've been listening to for a long time. If there was one message that you could disseminate, no matter how you get it out there, what's one message that you would tell the world?
Love people. Be kind to others. See the humanity in others. And treat that with respect. That's it.
I like it. It's short, simple, and easy. If there were 5 people who could sit at your dinner table, past, present, who would you choose to have dinner with?
My mom. My father is late. My wife. My senior pastor. My friend. Frank or Emily. And Patrick is in Nigeria. These 5 people.
All community based and people that provide you your foundation and love in life, right?
Exactly.
That's really cool. As we end this conversation, actually it's not the end. As we end part 1 of this conversation,
yes.
What suggestion would you have for me or for anyone else that's listening that might be struggling a little bit? What's one party message that you can pass on to them?
What you are going through, you're not alone. The troubles come and they go. You remain. What happens to you happens on the outside. It's what you take in that affects your peace and your emotion. Guard your heart. Guard your emotion. Don't hand the keys to situations.
I like that. Mr. Obi, my pleasure, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was awesome. I can't wait to do this again.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Quirky Podcast. I hope you enjoyed diving into another inspiring journey and found some nuggets of wisdom to take with you. If you love this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a conversation. You can find all our episodes on your favorite podcast platforms and on YouTube. Until next time, stay curious, be inspired, and keep carving your own unique path. Catch you on the next episode of Quirky Podcast.